What's up? Welcome to Betterman Pick'em, Week 15. I'm MLB Model here with Tyler Beaker. You know, Tyler, sometimes you got to just wear a denim hat that's got a USA embroidered in pink on it. You just got to do that sometimes. You know what I mean?
How old is that hat?
I can't even put a year or a date on this, but
I'm gonna go with from the 90s.
this is easily not. It's got one of those super long bills, too, that's like, an inch and a half longer than what you could buy now. Which is great for blocking out the sun. Anyways, I got a lead on where you can buy one of these if you're interested.
Nice.
Uh, so we're coming down sort of the home stretch here of the Circa contest. We are not going to win the Circa contest. We are not going to sniff the money in the Circa contest, but we're going to keep grinding for you. I missed last week. I was at the New England and Steelers game, which that actually turned out not to be a terrible game, Tyler. Like I realized the quarterback sucked and it was, but it was a fine game. I mean, it was competitive all the way to the end, so it wasn't terrible to watch.
No, it's probably just very frustrating watching that final fourth down play called by a Tomlin. Just I don't understand that. Why throw a sub 5% chance throw of actually being complete on 4th and 2 when you have a chance to keep the drive going and keep the game alive?
It's so fun being in the home stadium when a decision like that's made because the entire place is just going fire Tomlin and everyone's just going freaking bananas. But yeah, I mean, you're right there, 2 yards, and you decide to throw a freaking deep out down the sideline, and no one in the stadium understood it. And I got to tell you, the spirit in Pittsburgh is broken, man. I mean, you've heard the Ben Roethlisberger comments, I'm sure, and just being in that stadium and in that city on game day, like people are down and out on Pittsburgh. So we'll talk about it, but I'm actually thinking them going on the road is going to be a good thing for them because they got mercilessly fucking booed. Trubisky, after the first drive, literally looks at the crowd and goes like this. We're like, because everyone's cheering for Mason Rudolph to come in. So like, it's a bad scene in Pittsburgh. But let's start with the Vikes first. The Bungles. Boy, I gotta tell you, Browning has not been awful. Like, yeah, he's not great. Josh Dobbs has been a little bit of awful. I'm really shocked that the shine wore off of Josh Dobbs. Not really. But, we've got three of the best wide receivers in the NFL going into this matchup. Where do you lean here, Tyler?
Don't really have a strong take here. We have Jake Browning 2-1 against the spread so far in his 3 starts. It's going to be the Nick Mullins show for the Vikings here. So that adds a totally unknown element to this game, which makes it a stay away for me. But Browning, he's got a sub 5-yard average depth of throw. He's just dinking and dunking, letting his guys show off their skills with the X. I think they have a chance at doing well here.
But 70 any play. I mean, it's like, give it to him.
Why not? Feed him the rock. Yeah, I think this is a good spot for an entertaining matchup. It should be close. I think the spread being with 3 points makes sense. But Nick Mullins is a wild card. It's one I don't want to bet.
Ted and Armando both have a lean here towards Cincinnati. Ted actually has the strongest with a 5 on Cincy. I'm off it. Totally off it. Let's go to the next game. I talked about this just a second ago. Pittsburgh going on the road is a blessing for Pittsburgh. They're not welcome in their own city right now. But I got to tell you, after watching what's going on there, I can't touch Pittsburgh in this game. If I was going to pick a side, it would be Indy. I'm not picking that Indy side either. There's better things to do here, but man, both of these teams are really a mess.
Yeah, it's an uninspiring football right here. Not one I want to bet on with a close spread. I know it should be a low-scoring game. I don't have any leans here, to be honest.
All right, moving on. Let's go to Denver versus Detroit. I don't know, man. I keep saying Russ looks okay. He's not playing bad ball. So I am going with Denver here, taking the 4.5. I would have taken this at 3, honestly. So getting the extra 1.5, just a little bit of gravy on top. What do you think, Tyler?
I'm on that same wavelength as you. The Lions have been struggling as of late, and the Broncos, they are catching fire. Ever since like week 8, I believe it was a really close like one score game with the Chiefs. They've just been lighting it up. Their defense has taken a step forward. They are not the same team that gave up 70 points to the Dolphins back in like week 3. Really like the Broncos here and getting them at a great number here of over a field goal like this play.
Yeah. By the way, I was rooting so heavily for the Raiders to outscore that Dolphins total last night. Just like you got to go for it. You got to get 71. We got to go for it. We didn't even talk about that game, but we're just not. We're not
No.
in.
I bet the under on that game. Good Lord.
Oh wow, you're
Good Lord.
dead in the first 5 minutes.
Absolutely. I turned it off.
That's the first. That's probably the first game I didn't watch the second half. I turned it off. And let's go on to the next game. Boy, oh boy, battle down south, Atlanta versus Carolina. Goodness. So I'm gonna take a flyer on the Panthers here +3. If you, I can't make a case for this game being more than PK or close to it. So like I think I take the 3 here at home. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, low scoring games, it makes sense to grab the dog. The last time these two teams played, it was 10-10 entering the fourth quarter. I think that was like week 1, 2, or 3, very early in the season. Very different teams right now. Weather's also supposed to play a factor here. So I think Atlanta is the side that I want to lean on, but I wouldn't push back too much against Carolina +3. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. And in those kind of matchups, I'm fine with taking the dog.
All right, let's move on to a more interesting matchup. This is a tough one. So the Bears versus the Brownies. I see Tyler really likes the Bears. Armando really likes the Bears. Tyler, what's making you put that 5 here?
We talked about the Broncos being a defense that's changed course midway through. The Bears have as well. Getting Montez Sweat was great for their pass rush, but they've really just gotten healthy on the back end, which has been a very big game changer for their secondary. Joe Flacco, guy averaging a 55% completion rate over his first 2 starts. He's airing it out, just not accurately. And I think we see an opportunistic Bears defense who has 9 picks, I think, across their last like 3 or 4 games. Pick off Flacco a couple times here. I already took out Joe Flacco anytime interception, but I imagine the Bears keep this one close. And again, I think these are a lot of low scoring games. And in these low scoring games, I like to take the dogs. So Bears +3.5. They've been playing well. I really like what we're seeing out of Justin Fields ever since he's returned from injury. And the run game, I mean, that's how you beat the Browns. You run against them. There's a good chance that we see the Donta Foreman being fed in this matchup.
Tyler, I sent a tweet. I'm not sure how controversial it was that Joe Flacco might be the 13th best quarterback in the NFL right now. How far off am I?
Not far off. Like over half the league right now is playing a backup quarterback right now.
It's unbelievable, right? And Flacco's probably the guy that's got the most experience out of any single one of them, right? Like he used to be elite. I mean, like I think there's a case to be made. I literally went through and started doing a sheet. I actually had him at 12. So
the only bad thing for them is they lost another offensive tackle, their third one. But he's got some great pass catching weapons there. Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, David Njoku, and he checks down to the backs quite a bit as well, depending on the health of what's the guy's name? Jerome Ford. We could see either him or Kareem Hunt out there catching balls.
All right, let's go to the frozen tundra here. Tampa Bay versus Green Bay. Green Bay, they looked a lot like what I expected them to look like of late. I'm not real impressed. I don't think Jordan Love's looking all that good. For those reasons, I'm actually going to take a flyer here on the Bucks. Mainly because we're getting 3.5, and I like the hook.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you there. The hook's huge here. I think this is another low-scoring game. I don't believe in Jordan Love either. We saw a 3-4 week span where he looked great. A lot of that was schedule adjusted. Now he's got a Bucks defense, which could be getting back some healthy pieces. That's really the thing that I'm looking forward to is the final injury report, because Bucks have lost multiple defensive backs, their linebackers, Vita Vea in the run game. There's a chance that the Buccaneers are able to just run with Rachaad White, get 100-plus yards on the ground, and just control the clock and keep this game low scoring. But again, that depends on the injury report for the Bucks defense and whether or not Green Bay can punch back.
Yes. Okay, let's go down here to Tennessee. Tyler, I'm not a fan of the Vrabel style of football. I'm really not. It's boring as shit. When I watch Derrick Henry hit a hole, it's like he is so hesitant to get downhill. If you were to superimpose him hitting a hole or McCaffrey hitting a hole, it's got to be like 10 times as fast McCaffrey hitting that hole. Henry doesn't look like he wants anything to do with it to me. So I don't know. I think, Tennessee on a bounce back here. I've got 5 confidence on Tennessee. I realize that 2.5 is just a dead number. I don't really give a shit about this spread. I just think Texas wins outright.
Texas or Tennessee? Which side are you on?
I jumbled that. I'm on Texas. I've got a 5 on Texas.
Okay. This is another injury news game. We don't know what's going on with CJ Stroud, who's in concussion protocol. Nico Collins isn't practicing with that calf injury. I mean, this could be an offense down 2 of their top weapons with Tank Dell already on IR. That like saps away a lot of the explosiveness here. This is a Titans defense you want to throw against. And if we've got to see Davis Mills against the Titans, I think Tennessee could squeak this one out. This looks like
that Stroud news.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna move off. I missed the Stroud concussion. What day is this for him?
I mean, it was Sunday, so he got injured in that Jets game. So day 4 or 5 right now. 5.
All right. I'm off of it for now. Next one. Giants versus New Orleans. Boy, I gotta tell you, that fucking Tommy DeVito agent is a peach, boy. I tell you what, I love that guy. Love his hat. Love the whole vibe. Love the chicken cutlet sandwiches in the parking lot. I'm starting to think he might actually be a football player and not as much as a punchline as people have said. He looks okay to me. I don't know. I'm taking the 6 points here in New Orleans.
I would as well. Again, this is another low-scoring game under 40 points. Give me the dog. Giants have looked great over these last 3 outings. They're 3-0 against the spread with Cutlets there under center. Saints are 1-5 against the spread at home. I think this is a good shot for the Giants to just keep rolling. They should be getting back Darren Waller. If they get back Evan Neal, one of their tackles, I think that would be huge for the run game as well. Really think that the Giants are going to be competitive in here.
Yeah. 6 points, a lot of points here and then into that total as well. I think
Saints fall flat all the time too. Like they settle for field goals, they have stalled drives. There's a good chance Giants cover.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot for them. Let's go head down to Miami. Boy, Tua looked a little lost without Tyreek, and I suppose you can make the case anytime you take off like LeBron James off the floor, yeah, the offense doesn't look as good. But Tua looked really lost without Tyreek. His rhythm was off. Everything was just off without Tyreek on the field, which was interesting because he came back in and looked just fine. I mean, did a wheelbarrow race in the end zone. So I'm going to lay off of this game here. I assume Tyreek is totally fine and playing. But where are you at, Tyler?
Yeah, the latest report we got was Friday morning that he is questionable for the game. What really stood out was all of the offensive line injuries for the Dolphins. They had 4 out of their 5 guys were replaced midway through that Titans game. So it made the Titans pass rush look like a group of all pros. Now they've got the Jets defense, who does have a bunch of all pros coming at them. Really curious to see this final injury report for Miami because you said it. Tua did not look like an NFL starting caliber quarterback in that second half of last week. A lot of 3 and outs, a lot of stalled drives. Raheem Mostert's probably going to get shut down if they can't get this passing game going. I mean, so last time these teams played, it was Tim Boyle against this group. It was that Black Friday game, and the Jets scored on a sporadic pick six. But other than that, it was just one scoring drive. They go back to Zach Wilson here, the AFC Offensive Player of the Week after a 300-yard outing against the Texans. I don't have a strong lean here. I think 8.5 is a good number, to be honest. It really depends what kind of version of the Dolphins we get here. If Tyreek's out, if 3 or 4 of the linemen are out, this could be a long day for Miami.
Yeah, Ted Schuster likes the Jets here. Let's go
it.
Down to Arizona. And I got to tell you, this San Francisco team could be one of the best offenses I've seen since maybe like the greatest show on turf. Like these guys are just complete. I mean, they're just complete on both sides of the ball, really. I mean, Tyler, if there's holes in this team, I don't know where they are. I would lay the 12.5 here. I'm not. I think there's a few better spots, but I certainly would lay it without too much argument. Where are you at?
Yeah, Arizona hasn't been doing much since Kyler's returned. If he isn't getting into the paint himself, they're just really not putting up competitive outings. Um, you said it with the 49ers. They are just phenomenal. The last time these two teams played, Christian McCaffrey had 4 touchdowns. We could see them just absolutely roll here again and bury this team by the half. I would take the 12.5 with San Francisco, but I don't think we need to.
Yeah, I don't think we need to either, but I would do it if I could. Next game, boy, this is ugly to me. Washington versus the Rams. Let's see here. All right. Tyler, you're on the Rams. Teddy's on the Rams. Amada's on the Rams. Everyone's on the Rams pretty heavy here. Why?
Well, Washington is the stone worst pass defense in the league right now. Rams, their passing attack, they are starting to click right now. These last 2 outings with Cooper Kupp finally getting healthy. I think he has been a big game changer for them in terms of what this passing attack can do against a Commanders team that's like 32nd in pressure rate, 32nd in EPA per pass, 32nd in passing yards per game. Just the worst defense. They cannot get to the quarterback. I imagine we see the Rams just pour it on here in terms of passing production and then lean on Kyron Williams, who's been like CMC light. He's been a lot of fun to watch. Washington coming out of their bye, they probably won't have Brian Robinson again, so they'll probably be one-dimensional. And the Rams defense, I mean, it's a bunch of nobodies in terms of names outside of Aaron Donald, but they are playing well. I think that we see 6.5 is a big one. I like this as a teasing spot, moving it down to just the minus 0.5 and just getting the Rams to win outright. But I chose the Rams. I think they're going to win.
All right, let's go to Buffalo, coming off a massive win, a season-saving win, a controversial win, but it really wasn't. I'm not going to scream and yell about the crybaby that Mahomes was after the game, but and you saw that penalty called again last night. So apparently the league's going to start calling that, and so it is what it is. But Dallas going in the Buffalo here, I'm not surprised by this number. I think it's a good number. This is going to be a highly competitive football game. I don't know which way it's going to go, Tyler.
Oh, I like the Cowboys quite a bit here. They look really, really good on offense right now, just absolutely dialed in. Since their bye week, they have been throwing exceedingly heavy right now. They are just dropping back, and Dak Prescott's playing literally at an MVP level. He is the front runner right now in terms of odds. I imagine they get quite a bit of points on the board here. Curious to see if Buffalo can keep pace. They've been playing pretty fast under the new OC, but they have dialed back their pass rate, which could make sense here against Buffalo, who's a pretty good pass, or who's weaker against the run. I'm sorry, against a Dallas defense that's weaker against the run. I think it's going to be a fun one to watch. I'm surprised this isn't a primetime game.
Yeah, me too. Surprised it didn't get flexed. Let's go to Jacksonville. Baltimore versus Jacksonville. Jacksonville's getting 3 here at home. I'm going to move off of that Texans game and onto Baltimore laying 3. Tyler, what do you think?
I would get on board with that too. I mean, Ravens look like they're a team that's ready for the postseason run.
Yeah.
Jaguars are kind of just limping into things right now. Not really excited about them. Barely we were able to beat the Browns.
Yeah, Ted likes Jacksonville. I'd have to hear the case there. I think Jacksonville looks pretty much done to me. Last few times I've watched them play, I mean, they look disinterested to me. So
that defense you can put up a lot of points against too.
Yeah, I think Lamar has an absolute field day, and he's probably my DFS quarterback this week is Lamar. Let's go to KC versus New England. New England getting 8 at home. Zappy did not look terrible. He did not look terrible in that last start. Mahomes and company, I hope they can bounce back from their emotional roller coaster. I think they probably will and cover this number. I'm just not willing to lay it. How about you?
I'm in that same wavelength. I'm not willing to lay the 8 here. I just think that we could see the Patriots, run the ball pretty heavily. Was that you can just try to limit possessions for the Mahomes and the Chiefs. And last week we saw that worked pretty well. They ran the ball with success. They were able to check down to Zeke pretty frequently. I think he had like 7 catches.
I was just going to say those check downs is what really hurt the Steelers.
Yeah,
He was running the ball well after the catch too.
kept drives alive, kept the chains moving, just limited possessions for the Steelers and made them try to beat them that way. I think we see something similar unfold here. Chiefs have been so inconsistent this year. They play down to their opponents, and if we're doing a bet against the spread, maybe they don't cover the 8 points. Maybe it's just a one touchdown victory here for KC, but that 8 is a stay away number for me.
Breaking news: Brendan Staley was fired.
Oh, about time.
Fired after historic 42-point loss. Let's go. Philadelphia versus Seattle. Seattle getting 3.5 here at home. I see no reason that Philadelphia wouldn't roll here. Who's on? Just Teddy Schuster's on the Eagles. No one else, but I could be put onto the Eagles. I don't see why they wouldn't roll here, Tyler. Do you?
No, I'm on that same wavelength. The Seahawks look like they're pretty done here. Like that offense just there's nothing without Geno Smith, and we're still waiting for injury updates on that. I believe this is the Monday Night Football game, so we have some time here to figure that out. I think Eagles roll though. To be honest, I'm with you.
Yeah, well, we're staying away, but okay, that's it for the picks. I'll do a quick Survivor here. If you're still in Survivor, congratulations. The Circa pool is down to 13. One guy's got San Fran this week, I believe. It's like at this point, if you're still alive, you're making suboptimal decisions this week in terms of teams that you have to pick. Other than that guy who saved San Fran, congrats to him. But in all likelihood, if you're still involved, you have some suboptimal picks to make, depending on the size of your pool, depending on the payout of your pool, how many people are left. I mean, this is where game theory gets super interesting. So I would my only advice, Tyler, to somebody that's still alive is you're going to have to make suboptimal decisions. Make a decision that you think others will not make, and pray for chaos, because that's how you're that's how you win one of these things is decisions that everyone thinks happen don't happen, and you just sitting on the other side of that decision. So if it were me here, if I was still alive in Circa, I would be looking, where can I get at that other people aren't going to be? I think that's the place that you are right now, with depending on size, you have 20 or less people. I'm sure of it. Maybe 5 or less people, right? And if it's winner take all and you don't have a chop in place or anything like that, you're just going to need to get different than the crowd here. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I think it's depending on the size of people that are left. I think it's worth going through the exercise of seeing who has which teams left, to try to figure out what your opponents may play. Totally agree with you that going off the beaten path makes a ton of sense given what we saw last week. A lot of teams were eliminated due to some chalky plays that fell flat. Yeah, I would go through that exercise if you have the time. I mean, if you've got like 5 competitors, you can easily do that. Just play it backwards and figure it out. But yeah. I got to say again, just kudos to making it this far.
Yeah, 100%. Dude, that guy last week that had Miami still had to be feeling so good. He had the biggest favorite on the board available to him in a $9 million Circa contest and got beat. That's the message here for me this late in Survivor. No one is safe. I don't care who you have. I think the dude with San Fran safe, but I would have said that last week with the guy with Miami. So anyways, congratulations if you made it this far. I'd be talking to the other people in the pool saying, hey, you guys want to split this thing up right now? That'd be my strategy, is trying to angle for a chop of some sort. That does it for us on the Bet 'em and Pick 'em show. Thanks for watching.